Hi, everyone. This is Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. And today we have a special guest joining us. It's Pauline with Sugar Made Me Lean. Thank you so much for coming on here with me today. So I have a bunch of questions for Pauline. We'll get right into it. So first off, I just want to talk about how long you've been high carb, low fat vegan. And when you started your journey and what that looked like.
Okay, so hi Victoria. I started a long time ago when I saw Earthlings, and I started straight on the high carb low fat path. So I was lucky, let's say, but I took 2 years to do my transition. It was really hard back in the days, and I'd say I was fully vegan in 2010. After
Okay.
these 2 years, yeah, and it was long because I was, alone in my area doing that kind of thing. No one else understood or cared about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So about how old were you in 2010?
Okay, so it was 13 years ago, so I was 26.
Okay. Okay. So you're 38 now, right?
I just turned 39 just now.
Wow.
So,
Happy birthday.
not now, but end of January.
Gotcha. Well, happy belated birthday. Yeah. So it's been a while for you then, over a decade. And uh, when you initially transitioned, did you experience any weight gain? What was your previous diet like?
I was eating about normally, but I was feeling my worst before I started this new diet because I know I was starting to listen to mainstream stupid advice, like quitting syrup, syrup water, or these kind of things. And it really didn't work out for me. I was even starting to drink tea and have lots of chocolate more than ever. And I was burnt out, basically. And then I discovered this diet high in fruit, and it was the best time of my life.
Awesome. So, would you say in your past, before you came to the high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan, unlimited carbohydrate calorie way of eating, did you have any experience with dieting?
No, I don't know what diet is. I never tried to skip a meal or restrict my calories. I don't know how people do that. I never did.
Okay,
I did. Yeah.
that's great. I always tell people that you end up with the best results on a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet, or you get the fastest results when you've never dieted. So, you said that you lost weight then when you first or when you transitioned fully onto a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet.
Yeah. So after the transition, once I figured how to avoid the cheese completely and the croissant and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
then I had a very high fruit diet and I lost the weight effortlessly. I lost weight before I started exercising, actually. So I lost about 8 kilos in 6 months, something like that. I never checked my
Wow.
weight. No, not never, but I checked my weight every 6 months just because I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Wow, that's pretty incredible to lose 8 kilograms. That's about it's probably around 17 pounds when you're talking, US metrics. But yeah, that's pretty incredible to lose that much weight in such a short period of time. But it just goes to show when you take the fat out of the diet and the metabolism is intact, what the body can do.
Yeah, it was not a fast weight loss. It was normal speed weight loss, I would say. And I was never scared of lacking of protein or omega-3s or anything like that. I just went deep into the fruitarian rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what you have to do. I feel like I spend so much time with my clients just trying to convince them to eat high carb, low fat, and they always have all the questions about the omegas, the protein, and everything. It's like you end up getting everything you need when you just eat enough calories from high carb, low fat foods. And I know you talk about that a lot in your videos as well. And I feel like we're both just, repeating ourselves with a lot of content, but um, it's important to really I guess hammer that message into people to make them understand, this is so easy to do, and it's so, the results end up being effortless after you just like transition, like what you were talking about. But you have to be dedicated to it and you have to be consistent. But other than that, it's like the results just come and they stick.
Yes, you can say I was dedicated. So I wasn't socializing that much at that time. I got bored by these NPCs, and I wanted to do my own thing, and it was not a problem seeing just little people. Um, so I was eating my fruit and barely any starches at that time, not
Mm-hmm.
exercising at all. And at some point, I had so much energy, I wanted to move. So I started trying some fitness workouts. It was not really for me. And I tried running, and wow, I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I know that you're a runner and you're a cyclist. And you're on Strava. I do follow you on Strava. And if anybody is curious, all of Pauline's social media is Sugar Made Me Lean, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll include links to all of your social media at the and in the description box of the video that I'll post here. Um,
Thanks.
and your husband, he is high carb, low fat as well, vegan,
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes. He's also a vegan. He eats a bit more fat than I, but you should see what he's burning. He's doing
Yeah.
Uber Eats at the moment, like riding to another city and then riding, I don't know, 100 kilometers per day. So he
Wow.
needs more energy. He struggles eating enough with the very low fat diet that we do. So he had some
Absolutely.
coconut milk and things like that. Yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing I let a lot of my viewers know and clients know that you add the fats when you get too lean, otherwise, like I think you said that you maintain a BMI of 20, correct?
Yes.
Very
20.
effortlessly. Yeah, and I mean I just recently dropped down to like a 19, 20 BMI on this lifestyle, and it just happened effortlessly, and I feel like my body's just staying right there because I've cut back a little bit on my cardio training, and my diet's just consistently staying high in carbohydrates and unlimited fruit, sugar, starch, and your body just finds its happy place. But then if you're doing a lot of cardio and you're eating super low fat, then eventually you'll need to add the fats back in just to keep your hormones healthy and all that. So when did you meet Paul?
I met Paul in Thailand. It was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 16. Sorry, 2016. And yeah, he was riding up the door, and he was pacing me. I was on my bicycle. Yeah.
That's so cool. Were you guys at the fruit festival?
Yes.
Oh, very
Harley
cool.
Festival. Yes.
Yeah. So you got to meet Harley and Freely at that time then too?
Yeah, I met them too. I talked with Harley, not very much with Freely. I spent more time with him. Really cool guy. Always ready to give advice, and yeah.
Yeah, I've found over the years that his advice has been much more sustainable compared to Freely's message that kind of flip flops back and forth and has a little bit of, I hate to say this, like orthorexic undertones to it. Just because like I've dabbled with just eating fruit and being raw vegan and doing the high carb, low fat, unlimited calorie thing. And I always find myself always coming back to fruit, sugar, starch because that's what works. That's what's the most sustainable. Anybody can do it in any climate. I know you're in France. I live in northeastern United States, and I feel like we have winters and it's not so
Mhm.
easy to do the all fruit thing or be all raw. And I just think the practicality of doing unlimited fruit, sugar, starch is just so much easier for anybody in any part of the world.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. If I was really in a tropical area with lots of money, yeah, I think I would just do fruit, fruit, fruit. The expensive fruit that are super sweet, fresh, and local. I think I would do that most of the time. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just getting back to like Harley's message, I think that, you know, within his message is if you're living in a tropical area, like I know he likes to go to Thailand, um, and you have access to that super high quality fruit, then go for it. Like that's, what'll satiate you the most because I know, and you know too, that when there's a lot of sugar in your diet and something tastes really sweet, then that's what kind of curbs your appetite the most
Yeah,
out of anything. So,
yeah.
getting into eating, then what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
Okay, so usually it's a banana smoothie, but I can also have a juice of oranges, like 1 or 2 liters of oranges. If they are really sweet, I don't add sugar, but usually they're medium sweet, so I add sugar in them. Or other kind of fruit on a plate, it's very pretty for Instagram. But usually I prefer my banana smoothie because that's so efficient. So I don't know, like 7 to 9 big bananas with water, sugar, some frozen berries, and that's it.
It sounds good. And then so what does so do you do raw till 4 typically, or fruit till 4, I guess?
It depends on my budget, and it depends on the price of bananas in my supermarket because they vary day by day. Like some day it can be €1 per kilo, the next day it can be €2 per kilo. That's how much it can vary. So if
Wow.
I don't have much fruit, I do a starch lunch,
Hmm.
usually a rice with some pumpkin and soy sauce, or rice with jam. This one really triggers people. All they write is diabetes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. People are all about, like, I can get people on the fruit wagon because they're like, oh, fruit's a whole food. But then when it comes to white rice, they're like, you're gonna get diabetes, or even sugar too. And when it comes to sugar, do you use sugar to taste, or do you have like a certain amount that you try to get in every day?
No, to taste.
Yeah. And
Mm.
that's what I do as well. And that's what I tell other people to do. And that makes it a little bit more subjective, so that you are making sure that you're getting, you're meeting your sweet needs. And then another person's meeting theirs, because you may be fitter than someone else, but I mean, you're 39 years old and you look amazing. You look at least like 10 years younger than you are. And that just goes to show, when you don't have a dieting background and you come onto this lifestyle and you've been doing it for as long as you have, what the results look like. You look amazing.
Yeah, I keep a BMI of 20 all the time.
Yeah, and that's incredible because most people, as they get older, they're gaining weight every single year, and they're also becoming more unhealthy. And that really comes down to how much fat they're eating in their diet and how much like yo-yo dieting they're doing. And I try to tell people all the time, the yo-yo dieting really increases aging because you're stressing your body out so much by doing that.
Yeah, and they slow with the metabolism so much, and the thyroid is so slow. They almost all of them have the same profile: tired thyroid, big belly,
Yep.
bloating, yeah, iron deficiency.
Yep.
Mm.
I
It's sad
know.
to see. Yeah.
And I tell people too that you don't have to intentionally be restricting your calories. You can unintentionally be not eating enough carbohydrates. And it's easy to do when you're not eating sugar or sweet fruit or rice. When you cut any of those foods out of your diet, you can almost guarantee that the person is not eating enough carbohydrate calories a day. And then the anemia, the hypothyroidism, that all starts to kick in. And it's all due to the elevated cortisol levels that somebody will experience from using caffeine, not eating enough carbohydrates, etc.
Yeah, I was going to say that when they don't eat enough because they just aim for whole fruit or whole vegetables and whole starches, they don't have enough carbs. And then what happens? Tea, coffee, chocolates, always the same thing. It makes it worse.
Yeah, I had somebody recently comment on one of my videos saying that their teeth started getting cavities when they came onto this diet. And I took a small look into their Instagram, and they had previously been keto and 1 meal a day raw vegan. And then they came to this lifestyle and blamed it for their teeth problems.
Okay, so first the lack of minerals in their teeth, and then they maybe don't brush teeth 3 times a day, or they
Right.
don't drink enough water, and yeah, that's the recipe for cavities.
Absolutely. I know when I first came onto this lifestyle, I had a little bit of an issue, and this was like, 11 years ago, with having some cavities, but that's because I came to it from fasting. So I had demineralized my teeth by not eating enough calories. So then when I came to the diet and I just started eating as much as I wanted, then I had some issues just from my previous lifestyle. And I think that that's what people need to understand, coming to this lifestyle is that any damage that you've done to your body previously, you're going to be bringing that with you. So in my situation, I initially gained a lot of weight because I had been dieting for like 5 years, 6 years prior. And most people that I work with, that is the kind of background that they have, unfortunately. So I just wanted to talk about now, like metabolic damage and kind of your thoughts on that and your advice for people as well.
Well, there's some science in it. A lot of people can have slow metabolism because of past choices, but if you take enough time, I don't know, it can take weeks or months, you can speed it up. But that was
Absolutely.
never my problem. I didn't diet or I know I don't have this difficult past. But look at you. You are a mom. You did dieting and you flipped it around.
Absolutely.
Always
And
work well now.
yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at. It took a decade, but I think that's the reality though. When you spend years and years and years dieting, which a lot of women unfortunately do, but it's not even women nowadays, it's men too, doing all the keto diets and the carnivore diets and all that. And then they come to this lifestyle and they're like, wow, I gained, 20 kilograms. Well, yeah, you just starved yourself. Your physiology was not, it was primed for fat storage versus fat burning. And I know that what I'm trying to do with my channel and that what you're trying to do with all of your social media is help deprogram people to understanding that they need carbohydrates in order to run their metabolism and burn body fat.
Yeah, it's so difficult to reprogram people because they've been hammered the opposite message for decades, huh? From TV, from radio, from, I don't know, university or from grandmas.
Yeah, no, I mean, mainstream thoughts on weight loss is calories in, calories out. So that's the next thing I want to get into, and what your thoughts are on the CICO, the psycho calories in, calories out model of weight loss.
Well, short term it works. I have nothing to say about that, but long term you have to pay the bill.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're listening to that video, don't do psycho. Just do high carb, low fat, and give your body all the carbs it needs. Yeah, if people were scared of lacking of carbs, they wouldn't be with such problems. Huh? But instead,
Absolutely.
yeah, they're
Yeah, I
scared
mean,
of lacking of fats and protein. We
and
love.
that's what everybody comes to the high carb low fat diet like worrying about is I'm not going to get enough fat and I'm not going to get enough protein. And that's why we say, well, if you eat enough calories, it's not a non-issue. But a lot of people want to bring their calorie restrictive, mindsets to this way of eating, and you can't do both.
Yeah. On my channel, I have shown countless days of eating a calorie surplus and not gaining any weight. And it's on a 90% carb diet, a super high carb diet with sugar included and no fat gain whatsoever.
Yeah,
Thermogenesis.
oh yeah, I know. I hope people really go check out your Instagram because your reels are just so awesome. And they're
Thanks.
so simple to understand about, being in a calorie surplus and why you can be in a calorie surplus and still lose body fat or maintain a very lean physique, a lean BMI. I mean, I get questions all the time now, especially since I've lost all the weight. Well, you must be in a calorie deficit now because you're this lean or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm eating like 3,500 calories a day, always a minimum of like 3,000. Like, how am I burning that much every day? And I know that's about how much you eat every day too. uh and I think that people are just constantly looking to like find fault with the diet so that they can continue doing what they're doing, even though it's so fun and easy to eat this way. I mean, I don't know why people don't just jump on it.
Because they've been programmed and they're scared. So some of my followers look at my videos for years, sometimes 5 years, and then, okay, I'm going to try it after all this time because I see you're not fat, so I'm going to try it. But they're so
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody's scared to gain weight, but I mean, after going through the weight gain myself, I asked, well, what are you really scared of? Because all I gained from gaining weight when I did was gain my health back. And yeah, people like made some comments to me and everything, but the reality is that when I gained weight, I didn't gain over my normal BMI. So I was at the high end. I was like a 24.9 BMI, which is like almost overweight, but that just goes to show you how this diet too, when it comes to weight gain and rebalancing your body, that it actually, it has a threshold. So you're not going to just keep gaining like you would if you were eating unlimited amounts of fat and carbohydrates together and end up on that show, My 600-Pound Life.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but you have a cap. And the reason why, the weight comes down is because now you're becoming insulin sensitive, your leptin levels are now regulating, and all these changes are happening in order to turn your body from fat storage, which is what gets programmed when you restrict your calories, to fat burning, which is what happens when you eat an unlimited amount of carbohydrates.
Yeah. So guys, never start dieting.
Yeah,
You'll
no,
regret it later.
right. I mean, I tell people all the time that is the worst thing you can do. And the people who have the best results, like yourself, your husband, Harley, Natasha, none of them really have dieted. Harley, I don't think, maybe like dabbled with restriction, like temporarily, but not enough, not significantly. And I feel like you can be, um, you just get the results faster when you haven't dieted.
Yeah. He said in his videos that he has experimented with some different combinations or macros and stuff, but short term. So it was easy for him to go back to the lean weight. But
Yeah.
Freddie has had a past of restriction, long restriction. And how long did she take to lose the weight? I think it was 1 year.
I think it took her about 2.5.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that they have ever been very clear about when exactly she started. And I know that when she started getting on YouTube, she was already about 2.5 years in. And that's when like she was then holding like a BMI of 20. And it's before she got like super shredded. But I feel like when you start to get your BMI even lower, a lot of that comes down to genetic potential and what is healthy for your body in terms of body fat percentage and your hormones, but also fitness level. I know she was running like a sub 20-minute 5K at one point early on in her journey. And I think that makes a significant difference when it comes to like how lean your body can get in a healthy way as well.
Yeah, I can confirm that because when was that? Yeah, 2 years ago, not 2.5. It was in summer, and I was training like a pro, doing my intensity religiously once or twice a week, and I got leaner than ever on a raw till four diet. I got as
Wow.
lean as when I was on a fruitarian diet. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it works. The intensity works.
absolutely. I know like I spent a lot of this past summer getting faster and fitter on my bike. And I think that it made a huge difference. So when I came into winter and kind of went into maintenance mode, that's when all my weight dropped off. And it was because I had a lot to do with getting fitter, but also I stopped breastfeeding too. So it was a hormonal change as well. Some women will hold on to more weight when they breastfeed just for body fat reserves for the milk and the baby. And then some women, they have trouble with their supply because they get so lean. So there's definitely like a genetic variation when it comes to your hormones and how much body fat your body needs in order to be hormonally healthy as well. But anybody can get to like their ideal lean body weight just eating this diet, I feel like over time.
Yeah, yeah, genetics. I have quite big muscles for a woman, and sometimes I'm conscious about it, but this is the way it is. I have such huge calves and legs in general. So I think that's why I stay on a 20 BMI rather than a 19. But that's fine. Everyone has slightly different genetics.
Absolutely. I'd say you definitely have really great muscle tone, and maybe your body is more of like a mesomorph. Have you heard of like ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph like
Yeah, but
physiology?
I don't believe in it.
Yeah, I mean, it just is like somebody has more of like a medium athletic build or whatever versus like Natasha, who's built very like tall and like small bones, small muscles and everything. But none of it really matters. I mean, it all just is about, eating this way and achieving your ideal like lean body weight, but not only that, optimal health as well.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Because we like to attract people with, oh, look, you can get lean eating as much as you want. But after that, they will discover that they are so much healthier and they feel better in their minds. So it's a win-win. But we have to attract them with superficial things like being lean.
right, absolutely. So do you have any weight loss advice for the viewers before we start to wrap up our interview?
Oh, it depends on what they are doing currently, but the main thing is the diet, dropping the fat intake to the bare minimum. Like, don't worry about having enough fat, just remove the oil, the animal products, and even the tofu or hidden fats. Yeah, focus on rice, sugar, and fruit. That's what works.
Yeah, eating those in unlimited quantities. You don't need the seeds, the nuts, or anything like that. Um, so what are some of your favorite foods then to eat?
Oh, difficult question because I would answer something else every day. But I love my bananas. I could eat bananas for the rest of my life every day. It's fine. I also love potatoes. I'm not a plain rice lover, but when the sauce is good, then the rice is good.
Yeah. Getting to talking about sauce, actually, what are your thoughts on salt?
I think low salt is good. Zero salt is probably not going to suit everyone. So I advise people to use a bit of salt and be conscious about it. If they can sweat a lot, then salt is not a problem. But if it's winter and they don't really sweat, they should be careful with the salt.
Yeah, so would you recommend like using it to taste like sugar or being a little bit more cautious?
No, no. If I use salt to taste and I end up puffy every morning, it's horrible. So what I would advise is using soy sauce, but dilute it. And
Okay.
what it's strange, I find that the diluted soy sauce tastes great. So when I want to add soy sauce to my rice, I dilute it first, and then I don't know, the taste is better, and use less salt this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always recommend either diluting it or using like a low sodium, soy sauce option.
Mm.
Um, Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about your fitness, and what your fitness routine looks like during the week, like on an average week. Like, how often are you riding or running, and what's your PR is for a 5K?
Oh, numbers like that, I have no idea. That's my husband Paul thing.
Okay.
uh, I have no idea. Just check my Strava. It's somewhere there in the statistics.
Okay.
Anyway, my routine is I ride with the bike club every Saturday, and the ride is about 3 hours long. And I ride with guys only. Okay, the guys are 50 or 60 years old, but still,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good workout. And I don't run that much. Maybe I run once every 3 weeks. And usually I just ride my bike a little, like 1 hour per day or something, nothing. When I'm very busy with work, sometimes I skip the workout and it's fine. I don't have to train every day, so no pressure on that side. But I know that training makes me feel so much better in my head. After I work out, I feel like clean in my brain and so relaxed and not stressed anymore.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like just getting out in the fresh air and moving your body is like the best endorphin release ever. And you don't even have to be pushing it. But like you said, if you want to move your body into that next, like, you know, leanness category or whatever, then throwing some intensity in can help with that.
Yeah, it's painful on the moment, but then you don't regret it.
Absolutely. Well, Pauline, thank you so much for coming on today. And you recently released a book. Did you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, that's my latest ebook, Losing the Latest Kilos with Sugar.
Oh, right.
So basically, it's more strict than a 90% diet. It's more like a usually, we talk about high carb, low fat diet as an 80% carb diet, but this ebook is about 90% carbs and how to do it, and all the other aspects of weight loss that are not dietary.
It sounds like a really good read. I know I want to check it out, so hopefully the viewers will check it out as well. And I will leave a link for how to purchase the book in the description of this video. So other than that, people can find you on your social media. Do you want to talk about that real quick? Like what platforms you use?
Okay, I'm on YouTube, like you, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Strava. But on Strava, I have my other name, so it's Pauline Van Zuil.
Okay.
If you want to find it, but the link is in all my videos, so don't worry. So yeah, find me on YouTube, and I'm more active on Instagram usually. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So see you
I
around,
can
guys.
I can definitely verify that her Instagram is pretty sweet. So you guys should definitely check her out. I love your reels, your recent ones. They're so good. And you're just like a wonderful testament to what this diet can do for you long term. And especially as like I know a lot of people are worried about aging and getting older. And I mean, with you being almost 40 and looking so much younger, you're just like a wonderful example of the power of a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sugar doesn't make you age. Sugar is so neutral. Sugar fuels the reactions of antioxidants, but nobody knows that.
Oh, I know. Do you include a lot of that information in your books, like some of the biochemical stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I give my sources also in the ebooks. I don't think that's necessary, but people want to see proof because they come from a different world. So I understand they want proof. So I show scientific studies and what they have to know about this great diet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think there's a lot of information that can be learned. I know with my platform, and I recently created a coaching program where I purposefully educate people with it. I educate people on our cellular metabolism and how it works, and a lot of the biochemical processes that get triggered when we eat enough carbs and when we don't eat enough carbs, so that people can actually see it's not just, hey, I'm telling you to eat more carbs so you can get skinny. I'm showing you why you need to do this for longevity, for health, for weight loss, but also to prevent your body from, becoming unhealthy, becoming a fat store, why you don't want to do a keto diet, things like that. And I think that having that information available when you create products is so important, because when somebody can actually understand why something works the way it does, I feel like they're more inclined to stick with it.
Yeah, and once they start seeing results in their own bodies, then they're going to stick to it most likely. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's it for our interview today. Again, Pauline, thank you so much for coming on here. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you for inviting me, Victoria.
Yeah. And like I said, you can find links for all of Pauline's social media platforms and her book in the description box. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks.